Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I am back to show some replays of my climb to Master 1. I've been gone for a while because I've been working on the guide for Master Duel meta for Brandon. So I haven't really uploaded in a while, but I hope I can return to a regular schedule. Anyway, let's get into the replays. Last one here is not a branded replay, so let's skip that. First one we've got is against Snake Eyes. Alright, so a pretty decent hand here, and a single imperm to try and stop their turn. Here you do not waste the imperm on the Bellstar, because if they have any extender, they'll completely play through that imperm. So let's see what else they do. So here's what's arguably the best imperm target, Ash. You should always try and interrupt the card, whether you have Ash Blossom, Imperm, Veiler, anything. Just don't let that resolve. Even if they do play through it, their board is most likely gonna be a lot weaker. As you can see here, they did play through it. This deck is probably the worst matchup I had all season. It's really hard to stop. So a pretty weak board, all things considered. There's an IP Masquerina for link plays in my turn. Princess in the graveyard, Link Kuribo to protect their small guys. Let's see how I handle this. Red and white's pretty good to draw. Here I was trying to bait their princess in the graveyard and put Mercury in the graveyard so I can banish it with red and white. They did not use the princess, they just negated it with Veiler. That's another reason this archetype is so hard to deal with, because they have a lot of hand traps. And now they cannot use their princess, because if they do, I'll just negate it. Too late. IP. Here I was thinking I was gonna bounce whatever they summoned, but they summoned Goddess, which is immune to non-targeting effects, so I will just bounce the Hita. For example, if they tried to summon Appaloosa here, I could bounce it and it couldn't respond because it was mid-resolution of the chain. And then negates my Ringbrom, which I will forget. But I still win this. Keep in mind, I still have not used my normal summon or my Grand Infusion, so I still have a lot of gas here. Standard line. Put a Quinn in the graveyard. Mirror Jade. Here I wanted to banish their Oak, but that doesn't happen. They will chain their Linkuriboh to remove their Oak from the graveyard. They were on to what I was trying to do. That's fine, I still banish the Linkuriboh, which is pretty much the same thing. That single goddess is not gonna do much against me, so it's fine to stay in the graveyard. Same with the sword, get back my Mercourier. So here I was thinking my Rimbrand was still alive, but I forgot it was negated by the goddess, so later you will see me trying to use this Rimbrand and failing. Thankfully they ran out of good search targets, so they just set a Seeker, or Wanted rather. Let's speed this up a little bit. Here I really don't want them to go into Synchro play, so I just stopped the Jet from reviving itself. They cannot handle my Mirror Jade without losing their own board. And here was my misplay. Or no, that wasn't it. Here, I think they also forgot my Rimbrand was negated, because they didn't activate Dark. Well, anyway, it should be easy from here. They don't really have any disruption left. So just another standard line. Like Daniclad is basically the only thing I have that can beat over the goddess without killing itself in the process. I can finally banish that Oak. Later on the season I removed Beast, but early in the climb I was still playing it. Yeah, let me just pop that thing before it gets equipped so it cannot negate me. Oh yeah, so here's where I try to use Rimbrand, and I forgot it was negated way back on turn 2. And well, as you can see, it didn't work. But that's fine, because I'll just use Burning Red and clear their shield either way. And they're basically out of gas at this point. And they timed out. That was a really long duel. And for the second duel here we have Tearlaments, another very common deck I faced in my climb. So let's see how that duel went. I'm going second again, with no hand traps. Let's speed that up because Tearlament turns can be really long. I think this is the one where they basically whiffed all their mills and passed on nothing. Yeah. So basically I have one non disruption. I have no idea what's in their hand. I know they have Keldo in the graveyard. That's pretty much it. I don't think I know what the set card is at this point. I start with deployment and they ash it for some reason. Don't do that. I drew a max U that will come very handy. Summon Quem and they use Havness. I try to use Maxi and they negate it with Crime. And again they basically mill nothing, so I have basically free reign to play here, just need to get rid of the Keldo. I draw into Rebellion. Right back Mercury, so I have a Brennan High Spirits target. Here I get kicked, so I can access my Dreaded Fusion. And now they scoop because I got to my main playmaker. That was a fairly short one. So duel number 3. Apparently another short duel against Tearlaments again. Like I said, I faced a lot of Tearlaments. And I go first this time. With a bit of an awkward hand, I'm gonna have to use Brennan High Spirits to get anywhere. But it works out. Opening Bestials is always good. And they have Ash Blossom. Of course, they always have Ash Blossom. So here's a spicy card I decided to run this season. This may seem a bit weak, but Snake Eye and Super Heavy Samurai, I have a really hard time playing around this Floodgate effect, so it was a meta call I decided to try, and it really worked out in the end. As you can see, this tier player is not gonna be able to do much against this. And of course I try to set up for a Synchro Summon here. Rhino Heart. So here's why I decided to negate the Rhino Heart instead of waiting for Kid Kalos. If they went into Kid Kalos, they would have a way to beat over my Quem even if they got negated, and I would be forced to use Etude earlier than I'd like to. So I just negated the Rhino Heart and hoped they didn't have an extender. They did have Revolution Synchron, but thanks to Etude, this is not gonna help them at all. They have a call by for my Albas, but they don't really have anything else they can do here because their stuff is getting banished. And here's the kind of matchup where Etude shines on. This tier player got completely countered. So let's go into duel number 4. I was Master 4 at this point. And it was against Labyrinth. Really floodgate heavy Labyrinth. I think I remember this duel. Yeah, so I go first, thankfully. And this hand is not ideal, but it works. I was feeling some delays here. I was trying to bait them to use something. That's why I go into opening. Discard Maxi. Since I have 2, I want to keep the thrust because they had a delay, but they didn't really use it until end phase. Set up Etude because I was facing a lot of decks that died to Etude, but not this one. So here they set 5 and my heart dropped. This deck is not really built to play against back row, but I managed it. I do an Etude play to trigger my fusions in the graveyard. And I wanted to use Branded in red here, but they flipped 2 floodgates that stop me from fusion summoning anything at all. And I'm locked into light spellcasters, which I do have a few. So I had lethal on board. I try to go for lethal, but my plans were foiled because they still had Welcome Labyrinth. Thankfully, they put their Lovely in attack position so I could crash my monsters and clear my field. That way I could play around the floodgates. I go into Barload Furious, try to pop them. They negated, but I have Branded Opening in the graveyard, so it negated, and they don't really have any answer to Furious. So, duel number 5. It's against another Labyrinth player, this time not running any floodgates, thankfully. Labyrinth was another pretty common matchup I faced. I go first. Got a lucky draw from Shrouded, they got me into combo. They don't seem to have any responses. I had to banish the Almas in my hand because I didn't have any other dark access. It turns out that they did have a response, they had a Nibiru, and I just discarded my crossout so the Nibiru resolves. But it doesn't matter, I still get to play through the Nibiru fairly easily. They crash my Quim so I don't get to revive anything. Try to go into an chain place. And the Maxi makes them pass. They have an imperm for my Albus. I shuffle back my Brave Fusion so I can send it to the graveyard with Verte. But they negate it again. So I resort to Nibiru token beatdown. And they play right into my Retribution. They don't have anything to beat over my token. They just crash into the Verte. And thanks to them playing into my Retribution, I get my Branded Fusion back, which will be protected by Branded Lost, knowing that they scoop. So duel number 6 against Sprite. Haven't seen much of that. I'm going second with 2 live hand traps and 1 dead hand trap. And basically a dead hand because I don't have combo with this hand. And they join their adventure engine. Try to go for Sprite plays, but I have impermanence. Luckily I draw into a Quim here and I had an Ash Blossom to negate the Maxi. Draw into Quim gives me combo. But I need to deal with the Carrot negate. I try to crash Carrot, but they banish it and I no longer have combo. I needed that Serenir. They draw into Sprite Starter, which does nothing for them. They just crash the Quim. That doesn't matter, I already used the effect. And I drew into Fusion Deployment, which gets me Cartesia, and Cartesia gets me Aluber. And at this point they scoop, I think, because... oh, it gets me another Quim. Either way, they scoop, because I had combo and they had nothing. Duel number 7, I went up against another Labyrinth player, which had a few royals, pretty nice. Going first again, with a very good hand here. Pretty standard combo. Going further at 2 Floodgate. They really shouldn't have used that furniture because they played right into my Mercurier. I did this just to trigger my Quiv, revive the Albion, and proc it in the graveyard again. As you can see, even if the opponent doesn't do anything, Branded has a very sturdy engine. Can generate a lot of advantage out of nowhere. So I start doing some plays here, try to bait some disruption. Going into Furious again. Under Branded Lost, I can pop anything without them getting a response window. And I popped a really good card, I popped their Big Welcome, and they scooped. Duel number 8 here. We have a Kashtira Snake Eye Branded pile. That's a very weird deck. So I go second with just an Nibiru as disruption. And as usual, most piles tend to open really good hands. So they start comboing off, and I was thinking my Nibiru was dead, but you will see them fumble really hard here really soon. By the way, I had toggled off here, so they didn't know I have a Nibiru. And they go for reverting. If they had stayed with the regular board, they had a really good chance to beat me, but instead they decided to get greedy and go for a verti play, which turns off their Divine Temple. So here I can use Nibiru and they don't get to summon anything. And that whole cracked hand became nothing. I know where some of my Albas. They trigger the field spell, I chain Maxi. They chain Snow, try to make me not draw anything. And I thrust into Brilliant Fusion, and they don't really have any more responses. So I just go into a regular Mirror Jade here, banish the Snow, and I have lethal damage on board. And here's a perfect example of why you shouldn't do greedy plays like that. If they just went for a normal line and ended on Unicorn, Flamberge, and I don't know, maybe Heat Soul, they would have probably won this, but they decided to go for a greedy play and got punished for it. Last duel here, duel number 9. We go into a properly built Snake Eye player this time. Well, some weird tech choices like playing Birch, not very common. I go first. And they shotgun them XC. So I'll try to go for a very minimalistic plays here. Thankfully I have Britain High Spirits in hand, so I can set up my graveyard without needing to special summon much. I go for a very basic play here and handle Sanctifier, Duplication, Retribution, Mercurier, and Nibiru, while giving just a single draw. This is something Brenda does really well, which is play around XC. We can get a lot of advantage without summoning at all. They go to the Unicorn. An important thing to mention: a lot of Snake Eye and Tearlaments player are using a Kashtira engine on their decks. So instead of using your Disruption on the Kashtira engine, you should probably wait and see if they're actually playing Kashtira. They most likely aren't, so you will just be wasting your Disruption on a side engine and they get to play their main plays. Pretty standard play here. I think they forgot they can't target my Albion and just push the Oliver into the back row. There's no reason for them to do that. Go for Phoenix plays to get rid of my Retribution, and I have no choice but to let them. Unicorn, they choose not to discard anything, so I just revive my Albas and fuse away their Unicorn. I know they have the what's it called, Subversion in hand to push my Mirror Jade to the back row, but I still have a Duplication to dodge that, and I also have Nibiru. So they try to push it with Subversion and I tribute the whole field with Nibiru. I do that because if they push my Mirror Jade to the back row, I cannot summon another one, so I can't let them do that. They try to use Birth to revive their Kashtira stuff, but I just make Furious in response and they can't do that, but they still had plays here because they never run out of gas for some reason. Luckily, Branded always has really good follow-up. I ended their turn with no cards in hand and I start mine with 5. I top deck a Called By, which I just used immediately. I didn't really have to, I could play around the Princess if I wanted to, but why do that when I can just negate it? And I go for a Mirror Jade, and they scoop because they know they're done. So that's it for the replays. So that was it for the replays. I'll probably cover the deck list in another video, otherwise this will be way too long. Or maybe I'll put it together, I'll see. Depends on how long the deck list coverage is. I can give a glimpse on it. Oops, not this one. This is what the deck list looks like. I'll cover it more in depth in a separate video, but for those who just want to take a look, here it is. So that's it. Thanks for watching.